this is another player that's just been released from the Seattle Seahawks. This is a big-time player. I think that would thrive in the Eagles offense. And the Eagles, they have made moves in August. They've done it 4 times. Some last-minute trades, some last-minute free agent signings. I wonder if they're going to keep their eyes on this, and I think they should. Not only for this year, but for a possible extension of this player. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to be talking about Miles Sanders as well, because apparently he wants some revenge.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's having a fantastic day. Hope everyone is doing well. So, surprisingly enough, there was a player that has been released by the Seattle Seahawks, Noah Fant. I think a very productive tight end, and unfortunately, his career has been hurting the last few years because of just bad quarterback play over the last few years, and his touchdown numbers have went down since he was with Denver for, 2-3 years, then went to Seattle for the last 3 years, from 10 touchdowns in Denver to 5 in Seattle, averaging 11 yards a catch, which is absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine this guy being in a thriving offense, and let me tell you, those numbers are going to go up like crazy. Now, if you look at the Eagles' tight end situation right now, and obviously, the Dallas Goedert situation was really hurting us the entire offseason, because I don't know if Dallas Goedert was even going to come back at some point. They told him to go out and find a trade partner, and he really wanted to come back to Philadelphia, as we found out more information later on. But you kind of look at this group right now, Dallas Goedert is back for one more year. He's not on contract beyond the 2025 season. Grant Calcaterra is not extended throughout past the 2025 season. You picked up Kylan Granson. That seems like a pretty good backup, but hasn't had a lot of success in the NFL because I think he hasn't really had the good quarterback play behind him to really make his stats even better. But I think he's a pretty solid backup for us. And they picked up Harrison Bryant as well. He's more of a quick tight end for short area yardage type plays and things like that. So he's really not the muscle of the tight end group, but I think it's a solid group nonetheless. Now, it looks like the Seattle Seahawks did trade Noah Fant because, they got a lot of tight ends right now. I mean, if you kind of look at the whole entire group right now, they drafted Arroyo this past year. They have a second-year tight end in A.J. Barner, and they have a free agent tight end as well, and Eric Saubert. So they don't have to pay some of these guys in the next few years. So getting rid of Noah Fant saved them over $8 million in cap space. So really a cap savings type move. There was news that they were trying to trade him. They couldn't get a trade done. So they ended up releasing him literally the other day, and now he's available. I've talked about this situation more times than none because I feel like the Eagles should be adding to this position. I've talked about trading for Darnell Washington on the last year of his contract, or the last 2 years, whatever it is. I mean, Darnell Washington, I think, would be a perfect trade partner if he was actually available. Haven't heard much news from that, but you need somebody that's going to be above and beyond the 2025 season that could take over for Dallas Goedert if they are not going out into this draft in 2026 to go draft a tight end high. The Eagles are going to have plenty of draft picks, so I'm not even worried about that to try to move up in the draft and get a guy that they really do like at tight end. But I feel like they would rather get a guy that's going into his prime, a veteran player, not a guy that's already 30 years old. That they want to get a guy that's a little bit younger. But at Noah Fant at 27 years old, I think would be the perfect match, especially for his skill set. If you look at his remaining contract for the 2025 season, he's only about a little bit over $13 million as a cap hit for this year, which isn't a big deal because realistically, you would want to sign him and then you would want to extend him for the next couple of years. So obviously he would be playing behind Dallas Goedert and then would be the future starter here for at least a couple of years. So I'd bring him in on a 2-year, 3-year deal to see how he pans out with the team the next couple of years. And I guess we'll find out what happens. Noah Fant is not going to be a free agent for a long time. A lot of teams are going to acquire his services. And, as Noah Fant wants to be a starter, so there's going to be teams out there that are going to give him an opportunity. Maybe he'll wait throughout training camp to see if somebody gets hurt, and a team that's very needy at tight end, and there could be a team calling him in a half a second because they will get him pretty fast. Tight end position for the Philadelphia Eagles is literally the only position right now where no one's extended beyond 2025, and that bothers me a little bit because I don't see them extending anybody here. Dallas Goedert, he's getting whatever money he's getting for this year, and that's pretty much it. The Eagles, we already know, are not paying guys at 30 years old. Okay, besides Dallas Goedert. Like, Goddard is just way too valuable right now, but he's got to stay healthy. You know, he can't miss another 4 to 6 games. Thank God that Goddard was healthy in the playoffs last year, but it hurts when Goddard's not playing. But I have to give credit to the roster itself because Grant Calcaterra has got a lot of starting experience because Goddard has not been around. And I think he's played above and beyond for us. I think he's our fastest tight end, and I think he's gotten better throughout time. The Eagles know they have to worry about Dallas Goedert's health, so they have to make sure that the backups are going to be ready here. And adding Noah Fant to this group obviously would not be a one-year deal type move. Like I said, he would be a future move for the Philadelphia Eagles because they would need somebody the next few years, especially since they are on the high rise right now. They're drafting really well. They're paying players. They're locking guys up. They're going to be locking even more guys up. You're a Super Bowl contender for the next few years. So got to keep this roster up to date and make sure that you don't really are exploiting such a weakness to one of these positions, because the tight end position is the only position where you can lose almost everybody after the 25 season. Or maybe the Eagles are just going to sit tight, wait till after the 25 season is over with, and then maybe one of their big acquisitions they'll have next year is a tight end in free agency, or they will go all in on one in the draft. So either or, they have to do something after this year. But getting it done early now wouldn't be a bad thing either. Let me know what you guys think about the tight end position and Noah Fant. Would you take a shot at him and get him to Philadelphia? Now, Miles Sanders is a Dallas Cowboy as of right now. We almost forget he is. But there was some news that came out the last few days about why he joined the Dallas Cowboys. And apparently, this was what he had to say. He said, they said I wasn't worth the money, so I signed with the team that they hate most. I'm in Dallas now. And every snap is personal. I don't know what revenge he's got, dude. If the guy can't be humble enough, and let me tell you, when he got to Carolina, okay, after he played with the Eagles in 2022, he got to Carolina, okay? He was bitching about they should have used him more in that Super Bowl, should have ran with him more. I think all the running backs accumulated in that 22 Super Bowl for like, what, 40-something yards or something like that? I could be wrong. But Miles Sanders not only dropped the ball, he fumbled the ball once, and I think he recovered it. The run game was non-existent. It was on Jalen Hurts' shoulders 100%. And that defense with Jonathan Gann was absolutely horrible. So Miles Sanders is not the type of player that's going to win you football games when you need him the most. This is why we have Saquon Barkley. Look what he does. When you actually get a third down back in the building, look what happens. Theoretically, Miles Sanders has only had one healthy season. Okay? One healthy season. He's been hurt every single year. Hates running between the tackles, always bouncing to the outside. He had a dropping issue. He had a fumbling issue. He just wasn't good enough for the Eagles. And why do you think Dallas signed him? Not only that, but when he leaves the Eagles, goes to Carolina, gets paid, okay, he literally put himself down to the number 3 running back, okay? He was a number 1 running back over there, then garnished injuries, couldn't stay healthy, and he became literally close to a practice squad running back at one point. And then he goes to the Dallas Cowboys. You know why you go to the Dallas Cowboys? Because they've done nothing with the running back position. They've done nothing with that position. They drafted a running back this year that I like, but he's not a starter. They have a guy coming off an injury that needs to prove himself to be a starter at running back. They have nobody. They have no run game whatsoever. They have problems on the offensive line. Miles Sanders wants to make it personal with the Eagles. You're with the Dallas Cowboys right now because that is the closest you're ever going to have a chance to start as a starting NFL running back. Not even just to say that, but I don't think around the league, like, everybody wanted Miles Sanders' services. He probably didn't have that many offers from teams, especially since the guy can't stay on his own 2 feet. It's not like Miles Sanders was breaking 1,000 yards every single year with double-digit touchdowns and the team was failing him. Like, he's failed us. He wasn't there for us when we needed him the most, when it came to his health and when plays were these absolute drives that we needed, and he just couldn't get the job done for us. I will never shit on Miles Sanders because I was a big Miles Sanders fan, but this is just ridiculous, especially since one of your good friends in Saquon Barkley had one of his best seasons. I figured he would be happy for us, but to sign with the Cowboys only because it's against the Eagles is absolutely ridiculous, and you're not going anywhere with the Dallas Cowboys this year. I guarantee that. So that was the news on Miles Sanders, and I think probably anybody that's even listening to this probably gives 0 fucks about it. So that's where we're at. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We talked about Noah Fant. Would you sign him? Would you extend him? Do the Eagles need tight end? What is your prediction of this tight end position after this year? And what do you guys think of Miles Sanders' quotes against the Philadelphia Eagles? Is he stand valid? Or you think he's a complete joke? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.